The fog in the Amazon rainforest wasn't just weather, it was alive. It drifted through the ancient trees like a living blanket, swallowing everything in its path. Elias crushed the damp forest floor beneath his heavy boots, releasing the sharp smell of rotting leaves and wet cedar into the humid air. His ranger uniform was brand new, but the exhaustion on his face told a much older story. He hadn't come here simply to work as a forest ranger. He had come to fill the emptiness left 20 years earlier, when his father disappeared during a patrol and was never found. At the ranger station, Elias met Silas, an old forest guard whose weathered skin looked like dried leather. His faded eyes carried a warning that couldn't be ignored. Sitting on an old wooden bench with an unlit cigar between his fingers, Silas quietly studied the newcomer. "So, you're the kid they sent from the city?" "That's right. I'm Elias." Silas gave a thin smile. Being old and surviving this forest are two different things. "Tell me, son, did you come here for money or for peace?" "I came here to do my job." Silas slowly stood and pointed toward the northern wilderness, where the trees grew so thick that even sunlight surrendered. "Never cross Red Creek after sunset." Elias frowned. "Why?" "Because that part of the forest doesn't belong to us." "I didn't come here to be scared." Silas shook his head. "Fear keeps a man alive. Curiosity is what feeds this forest." That night, Elias lay awake inside his tiny cabin. Something stood outside. The wind whispered through the trees. Then came a voice. "Elias, my son." His blood froze. It was his father's voice, the same voice he had last heard 20 years ago. At sunrise, Elias ignored Silas' warning and hiked toward Red Creek. The deeper he walked, the quieter the forest became. Birds stopped singing. The air grew heavy. Even his own footsteps sounded wrong. Then something glimmered beneath the leaves. He bent down. A broken wristwatch. His father's watch. Its cracked glass reflected his trembling face. "Where are you?" Elias shouted. The answer came immediately. "I'm right here, just a little farther." The voice echoed from deep within the trees. Without thinking, Elias ran. Branches tore at his arms while thorn bushes clawed at his legs. Finally, the forest opened into a clearing. An abandoned cabin stood alone beneath the endless fog. Its front door hung half open. A faint yellow light glowed inside. The cabin smelled of mold, decay, and ancient paper. A single chair sat in the center of the room. Someone was sitting in it. Their back faced him. "Dad!" The figure slowly turned. Elias couldn't breathe. It wore his father's face, but its skin had turned ash gray. Its eyes were nothing but endless black holes. Its flesh hung loosely from its skull like rotten cloth. "You finally came," it whispered. Its voice wasn't human anymore. It sounded like dozens of voices speaking together. "My son." Elias staggered backward. "No, my father is dead." The creature smiled. "Death is only an illusion. This forest doesn't let anyone leave. It consumes memories. It feeds on grief. And then it wears our faces." Elias pulled out his flashlight and aimed the beam directly at the creature. It screamed. The sound shattered the silence like broken glass. Blood trickled from Elias' ears. "You belong here," the creature roared. "Your blood already lives beneath these roots." Elias fled the cabin. Outside, the forest had changed. The trees were moving, their branches twisted like giant snakes, reaching for him. Behind him, the creature crawled unnaturally fast, its limbs snapping with every movement. Elias reached the edge of a deep canyon. Far below, a raging black river crashed against the rocks. There was nowhere left to run. The creature leaned close enough for him to feel its freezing breath. "You think I'm your father?" A horrible grin spread across its ruined face. "No, I'm the hunger that devoured him. And now, I want to taste you." With every ounce of strength he had, Elias slammed the broken watch into the creature's empty eye socket. It shrieked in agony. Without hesitating, Elias leaped into the black river. The freezing water swallowed him whole. The current dragged him through darkness. Everything disappeared. When he finally opened his eyes, morning sunlight filtered through the trees. Silas stood beside him, calmly lighting another cigar. "I warned you," the old ranger said. "Curiosity always comes with a price." Elias looked down. 5 deep claw marks covered his shoulder. The wounds were already turning black. "Was that really my father?" Silas exhaled smoke. "There are no fathers or sons in this forest. Only hunters and prey. But remember this. The forest knows. You're sent now." Elias drove away as fast as he could. Miles passed. Then he noticed something strange. Someone was sitting beside him. He turned. The seat was empty, but a pale handprint slowly appeared on the passenger side window. The smell of wet earth and decay filled the car once again. He wasn't alone anymore. The forest had followed him. He stopped at a roadside diner. The waitress stared at him. "Sir, are you feeling okay? The skin around your eyes." Elias looked into the mirror. His heart stopped. Gray patches spread across his face. Black veins crawled beneath his skin. Then the familiar voice echoed inside his mind. "We'll always be together. Family never leaves." Panicked, Elias jumped back into his truck. He looked at his father's broken watch. His hands were moving again. Not forward, backward. The road repeated itself. The same trees, the same fog, the same bends. He wasn't escaping. He was trapped inside an endless loop. Then, the cabin appeared in the middle of the road, exactly where it had been before. Only now, it had been waiting for him. Elias slowly stepped out of the truck. The creature stood in the doorway. This time, it smiled. "Welcome home, son." For the first time, Elias wasn't afraid, only hungry. He reached forward and took the creature's cold, rotting hand. "I'm home." His voice no longer belonged to a man. It echoed with countless others. Far away, Silas lit another cigar and disappeared into the fog. Another keeper